DWCS Season 6, Week 9 results. 17-year-old Raul Rosas Jr. makes history, becomes youngest UFC fighter ever. Raul Rosas Jr. made history. Raul Rosas Jr. may be scheduled to be the youngest fighter in the history of Dana White's Contender Series later this month, but he feels that he'll also be the most talked about at the end of the season. The 17-year-old bantamweight prospect faces Mando Gutierrez on the September 20 DWC's fight card at the UFC APX in Las Vegas. Rosas' opportunity to fight in front of Dana White and the UFC matchmakers has certainly caused a lot of intrigues, much like Bo Nickal's first appearance. When asked if he'll be talked about more than Nickel, a decorated collegiate wrestler turned MMA fighter with a ton of hype, he was confident. "I think it will be me," Rosas told MMA Fighting. "I like Bo Nickel, and I'm also surprised he didn't get that contract." Rosas is 5-0 with 5 finishes in his young pro career, which all took place in Mexico MMA promotion UFC. Don't let the age and low number of pro fights fool you. However, because the California standout has a lot of experience in the cage. "My first MMA fight was in the kid's cage. I was 8 years old," Rosas said. "My first official amateur fight, I was 15. I've fought since I was 8 until I was 14 in the kids, and I only lost twice that I could remember. I was 20-2. My last fights with that, I went to Rome, Italy and competed at the Worlds in the 14 to 15-year-old bracket, and beat Russia, Lebanon and England, and got first place. When I came back home, I realized I was already the best kid in the world, and I had nothing to prove. So made my amateur debut at 15. It wasn't as simple as saying yes to taking a fight on DWCS. Because of his age, Rosas, who is being homeschooled for his senior year of high school, needed to do some extra work behind the scenes with help from his manager Jason House and his parents. "My management did a lot of the work, but a lot had to be done," Rosas explained. "I had to sign a few papers, and then my parents had to sign a notary. Why I should compete on the Contender Series. Yeah, there's a lot of my parents' signatures on a lot of papers, so a lot of paperwork had to be done for this." As much as Rosas wants people to focus on his skills, his age is something that is going to be talked about. Set to turn 18 in October, Rosas understands there are people that might be critical or have questions about such a young fighter competing on such a big stage. "I don't pay a lot of attention to the critics because I know what I've done to get here," Rosas said. "I wasn't a normal kid just going to school, doing my homework, playing around, going to parties. I knew what I wanted since I was little. My dad always told us, you don't have to be fighters. Y'all do whatever y'all want to do. But just make sure that whatever you're going to do, I want you to be the best at it. If we were going to be fighters, we were going to be the best at it. All my life, I would go to school, and I wouldn't even go home. I would do my homework at the gym before training and just dedicated my life to this. I didn't go to parties with friends, go to Halloween, or celebrate this, that because I would be training. I'm not a normal 17-year-old, and September 20, I'm going to show why I'm ready and shut up all the critics." Rosas already feels he can compete with some of the top names in the UFC's loaded 135-pound division and hopes he could one day share the octagon with one of his favorite fighters one day in Jose Aldo. A big fan of Tony Ferguson, Rosas plans on putting on a show when the bright lights are upon him against Gutierrez, a 7-1 Michigan fighter who's competed multiple times under the LFA banner. "I'm going out there to try and finish every second of the fight," Rosas said. "If it goes 3 rounds, it goes 3 rounds. But I'm going to be trying and finish every second. Even if I'm on my back, I'm going to be fighting off my back. I'll be putting pressure on him everywhere. I feel comfortable anywhere the fight goes. We can clinch, we can wrestle, grapple, bang it out. I'm comfortable everywhere. I just know my style will impress Dana White. I'm going to try and finish the fight and just put on a show for y'all." The 17-year-old bantamweight became the youngest UFC fighter in history on Tuesday, inking a full-time deal with the promotion after a win in his co-headlining Contender Series bout against Mando Gutierrez, which took place at the UFC Apex in Las Vegas. The Mexico native out-grappled Gutierrez, 7-2, in all 3 rounds and showcased a creative style, nearly pulling off a solo stretch attempt in round 1 and taking his 25-year-old foe down in the second frame with a particularly gorgeous sequence off a fake flying knee. It was an impressive all-around performance, and one that showed Rosas Jr. 6-0 may actually be a force in the UFC before long. In the end, all three judges scored the contest 30-27 in the youngster's favor. There was nothing to even discuss. We didn't even talk about it back there. I'd never seen anything like it, said UFC President Dana White. He's absolutely positively talented. He's special. He's different. At 17 years old, you just don't see kids that age handle themselves like that. Since I was born, I knew this was going to happen. Austin Lane, 12-3, returned more than 4 years after his Contender Series loss to Greg Hardy. A 34-year-old former NFL player, Lane made the best of his second effort, knocking out previously unbeaten Richard Jacoby 6-1 with a salvo of first-round punches. After getting taken down and mounted early, Lane reversed the position and smashed his grounded foe with repeated punches from a standing position, securing a finish